What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bench Warmers. Today, it's time to break down the schedule once again of Week 10. My name is JJT with Kumish Eric. Week 10, pretty much halfway through the season.
Halfway through. And Week 10, Christmas. It's Christmas Day already in Week 10. So, time flies, guys.
Yes, Christmas Day games. Actually, that's the start of. Oh no, that's Judgment Day, right? Christmas Day games.
That's Judgment Day. That's Judgment Day.
That's Judgment Day. Let's take a look at Week 10 schedule. Unfortunately, there will be 4 teams with just 2 games each, and that's going to be crucial because there are big names here in this list. Brooklyn, Indiana, the Clippers, and Miami. And then the rest,
yes,
they're pretty evenly spread.
Actually, the weird thing here is there's 4 teams with 2 games. There's 6 teams with 4 games. So, if you are up against Luka, LeBron, Giannis, New York has Julius Randle playing so well, Jalen Brunson, Embiid, these guys, and Devin Booker had 58 today. So if these guys, have 4 great games, and you own one of like Haliburton or maybe KD, you're in trouble. You're in trouble for this week. It's hard to stream this week. Later on, we'll talk about it, why it's hard. The breakdown is a little different because it's Christmas week. So I have to pray to Santa for some miracle or some luck for this week.
Yeah, you were talking about if you have players like Haliburton of Indiana. How about the Clippers in Miami?
Yeah.
Imagine having Butler there and he misses 1 out of 2 games.
Well, I would think with only 2 games, I hope that the Miami would play Butler both games. I hope that Bam would play both games. Lowry did not play today. I hope he'll be ready for the 2 games next week. So yeah, it's bad. Talking about the Clippers, Paul George did not play today. So what if he decides to rest?
Just rest the whole week, right?
Whole week. Yes, right? Yes. So
they only have 2 games, and the Clippers are, they're not as worried when it comes to resting players because they know they're deep. Everyone can play, and then some, they've had games wherein they don't have Paul George, so they're familiar with that. So we'll see. If you look at the breakdown, there will be 3 quality game days. Wednesday, Manila time. Yeah. That's Tuesday in the US. There will be 5 games. On Friday, there will only be 2 games. Friday, Manila time, and that's what's that? Thursday in the US. Is that New Year's Eve? No.
That's yet. Still 22nd, 23rd, or 22nd of December.
Oh yeah.
Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is on Sunday, Manila time.
Christmas Eve is on Sunday. Yes.
Yes, Manila time. So Saturday for the US listeners, there will be no games there. Yeah. So that's very big.
And of course, the Christmas Day games would be on 25. I keep thinking that next week will be New Year already, but yeah.
No, you're advanced. You're advanced. But the way this sets up though is that if you can see after Saturday's heavy 14 games, if you're down by that time, you're basically in trouble because you only have Christmas Day's 5 games. That's the only thing left. You don't have any games on Sunday, and then Monday we will only have 5 games. So you really have to start well. Don't fall behind. Stream well.
Stream early.
Stream well early. Yes.
I don't think saving moves would help a lot because on Judgment Day there will only be 5 games. Yes, you probably can stream but by that time you're probably gonna be either out of it or not as close anymore. So you have to be careful about that.
another point is that Judgment Day is Christmas Day. The games there would be rivalry games,
Yeah.
will be the marquee matchups, will be strong teams. We know strong teams usually don't have good streamers. They're not like the Detroits, Orlandos. These weaker teams, tanking teams, or whatever you want to call them, usually have more players that you can get. You can stream for like OKC, for instance. Those teams will not be available for you on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So you really have to prepare early, stream early, don't fall behind. That's very critical for week 10. Don't fall
And
behind big because it's hard to come back.
and usually during Christmas Day games, teams rarely rest stars
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
a prime schedule, right? Prime time schedule, whatever the time is in the US. Except of course for players like Steph who's already out,
Yes, yes.
some other stars who are already injured and won't be able to play. But other than that, they usually would play the stars here because it's like Komish said, these are the marquee matchups for the week. Back to backs. So tomorrow, week Judgment Day for week 9, Charlotte, Lakers, Minnesota, Orlando, Toronto. Be good to maybe pick up some players from these teams. Uh, at least fills up one roster spot for the first day of week 10, and then of course save a move as well for next week. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, there are two teams, Phoenix and Utah. Wednesday, Thursday, Chicago, Detroit, Golden State, and the Knicks. Thursday, Friday, there'll be none. Friday, Saturday, New Orleans, San Antonio. And then no more back-to-backs after that.
No more back-to-backs going into week 11 also, which is something unique again. And again, going back to the point about this week, there are very few back-to-backs. You don't count the Charlotte, Lakers, Minnesota group that starts on week 9. Very few teams have back-to-backs. So that is streaming. So it's clear right now after seeing that how few teams have back-to-back, and the schedule a while ago we talked about how little games there are in some days, that you have to concentrate on the quality days. And that's just how it is. You have to concentrate on the quality days and stream hard on those quality days.
Yeah, Wednesday, Friday, and Monday are the quality game days. Best streaming teams in terms of schedules. We have the Knicks, Phoenix, Denver, Memphis, Utah, and Washington, all with two quality game days. Knicks and Phoenix have 4 games, so I think they're probably the top teams to target this week or on week 10. And then Denver, Memphis, Utah, Washington all have 3 games, but 2 of those 3 games are on quality game days.
Yes. I and then given all these teams, no, you have to also know some quirks like Utah. Their games are early. The last 3 days of this week they don't have any games.
Mhm.
So similar with Washington, I think Washington the last 2 days of this week they don't have any more games. So can use them early, some of their players, because Utah has some like maybe Nikhil, some streamers there, so you can use them. But I agree with you. New York and Phoenix, they're the teams that I think you can really target for this upcoming week.
Now, the question would probably be, for example, Washington. There are a lot of streamers there. You can have Kispert there. You can have Avdiha there. Maybe Monte if he was dropped or in shallower leagues, or maybe Goodwin. Lots of not really hold type of players, but streamers. So but some of these are borderline. Like Avdiha, for example, can be borderline hold. Do you recommend dropping them once the games are over?
For Washington, they don't have a game on the last 2 days. But remember, everybody doesn't have a game on a lot of teams doesn't have a game on the last few days because we don't have a game on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day there's only 10 games, 5 games, 10 teams play. So it depends really. Avdiha, I'm not sure if Bradley Beal would come back already by next week. If Beal comes back, Avdiha isn't as good as he usually is right now without Beal. He always plays better with Beal out. If Beal is there, I don't see him as a real must hold player. So it really depends on number one, the player. Number two, how far away are you? Uh, if you're really down in your matchup, I don't think streaming some players from the Christmas Day games would really matter. You might be grasping at maybe a Kemba who played well today. You might be trying, okay, let's hope he has a big game on Christmas Day. You might be pinning your hopes on those kinds of long shots, which I would not recommend usually if you're gonna drop a player of good caliber.
Yeah. So just a thought, because I can always see a lot of Washington players there in and out of the free agent pool because they're serviceable as a streamer.
Mm,
Avdia, for example, is a borderline hold, maybe 14 team. But like you said, if Bradley Beal, I think, who is closing in on a return as well, comes back within this week, then he might be worth dropping already. Or yeah, it still depends on who you're gonna pick up. Will it matter? Won't it? Right. So I think that's the crucial question to answer. Other
will, will it will it matter? Will it matter? Is important.
Yeah,
Context is important. Like if you're down 2 rebounds, you're down 3 assists. I mean, worth a shot. I mean,
yeah.
two categories,
There are even a
two
lot of
points in your
factors.
standings. That's big.
There's even a lot of factors there. I mean, looking at your opponent's players, right?
Yeah.
Even if you add or stream a player, but your opponents have, strong rebounders and you probably have guards, those two rebounds might not just, you might not really be able to catch up those two rebounds, but worth a shot, right? So context in adding and dropping and streaming is also important here to consider. Uh, Targets. Who can you target? Quentin Grimes for New York, on
Yeah.
fire.
He he's the best target for the week for me, given the schedule. For streaming only, this is for streaming. I don't expect him to play that well the whole 4 games. But the fact that you can use him for 4 games and on quality days is important. Isaiah Hartenstein, I didn't put him there. Emmanuel quickly also for the Knicks. So those the Knicks have some. I mean,
Yeah.
quickly Hartenstein. They have games where they can help. Hartenstein can get you 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds, times that by 4. That's 30 rebounds already. That's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
I'm predicting the totals for this week would not be that high. So getting plus 25 or 30 rebounds from a player you picked up off the waiver wire would be big already. So quickly, Hartenstein, Grimes. For the Suns, I put Torrey Craig down, but watch out for Josh Okogie also. He played well today. And then afterwards, Monty Williams talked about giving him more minutes. So in deeper leagues, look for those players, and also look for the status of DeAndre Ayton. Of course,
Mhm.
I did not put Bismack Biombo here anymore because I'm not sure what's the status of Ayton going to next week. No, so you have to follow that. See if he's out longer. Then Biombo becomes another player that you can target.
Okongwu from the Hawks, we've mentioned him
Yeah,
in previous quickies, so I don't think he will be available except for maybe shallower leagues. Um, Tim Hardaway Jr. For
the
for
Mavs.
the Mavs, still worth a
I
stream.
I actually like the Mavs schedule the most. Non streaming wise, and they have Minnesota, Houston, and the Lakers. I put that there. Streaming wise, it's not maybe not as good, but the matchups are pretty good. So if Luka plays all 4 games, that's good. And you know why? Minnesota gives up the most 3 pointers. Houston gives up the second most 3 pointers. So Luka should have a good time against these players, and also Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway does basically shoot 3 pointers,
Yeah,
so
that's all he
he
does.
should have and the injuries in Dallas. They have Josh Green out, Maxi Kleber out. They have so many players out. So Tim Hardaway has to play a lot of start and play a lot of minutes. So I also like him for next week if you're preparing early on or preparing ahead into next week.
Bones Highland for the Nuggets. Of course, Thomas Bryant is a very big streamer in case AD is out. We've been talking about him already. I can see a few there. I think a lot of the managers are waiting for AD status. They don't want to waste a move for tomorrow's Judgment Day before picking him up. So, but Thomas Bryant, if AD is out, if AD is in though, well, Thomas Bryant is clearly a drop. I don't think he's worth even adding if AD is in. So I think that's where
Yeah,
some managers are having dilemma whether
I
to add him for tomorrow's games.
I would add him for tomorrow's game because remember they have a back to back going into week 10. And I don't think AD would be ready for both back to back games. Just me, just my hunch. But the fact that they're not giving, they're ruling him out this early
Who are they against
means
though?
it might
The
against Denver.
Lakers.
I don't know.
They
I
have
think Charlotte.
Phoenix. I think they have Phoenix on Monday.
Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix on Monday. But regardless if it's Phoenix or whoever it is, I think there's a big chance that AD won't be there for the start of the week. So I would add Thomas Bryant already. But if as you said, if AD is ready for week 10, maybe for the Lakers you can go with some other players. I think Lonnie Walker would have been dropped. Maybe give him a chance, or Austin Reeves.
Yeah,
Maybe
Austin Reeves is
those
there.
players, those players could be a player to consider. Again, another thing that we can add here is know the 10 teams that will play on Christmas Day. Basically, those 10 teams will be very, very important because there could be this is a very possible scenario. Before Christmas Eve, after those games for Christmas Eve, since there are much fewer games, there would be a lot of categories up for grabs in your matchups. And then you have one more day, which is Christmas Day. So then you would have to really be, I guess, creative as to which category you will consider targeting, which category you would give up, even if
Yeah.
you're just down by a few margin. So you have to consider those things. That's why knowing these 10 teams, the 5 games, know them by heart, so that by Judgment Day, you know who really you can get from these 10 teams. These ten teams that would play there.
And what's also going to be crucial is that the day before that Judgment Day game, there will be 14 teams, 14 games there. So
Yeah.
there's really no streaming that could happen there because all pretty much all the teams except for two or four, right, will not be, or is it
Yes.
two? Just two teams. Two teams
Two.
won't be playing. So
But here's another thing just to add. We talked about this. Because you said 14 games on that day, the next day
yeah,
there's no games.
yeah,
And then 5 games on the last day. So maybe people will say, okay, I'll stream ahead. Stream this early. I'll pick up the players who I could pick up this early. So I'll be ready for Judgment Day. But Jeremy did say that sometimes streaming way early, preparing early sometimes can backfire because sometimes
yeah.
there's surprising injuries, or sometimes,
Surprise, players not playing.
or maybe you were going for rebounds and then all of a sudden you're
Yeah,
down by
that's
a
it.
huge margin,
At the
and
end
then
of
you needed
the
assists.
yeah,
So
for me, I always wait for the games to finish, except for maybe an obvious stream like the Thomas Bryant stream, for example. That when early on that AD won't play, I'll add him up even without waiting for all the games to finish. But as a habit, I usually wait for all the because sometimes I add a player and then that player becomes useless, right? the stats that he would give me won't really help me in the category that I thought I was going to win. So that's a
Yeah.
wasted move. So I think these things come into play. Like I said, these are streamers. These are not top players. So sometimes, unless there's a very obvious stream wherein, the Nazrids, the Tyus Jones, the one injury away type of streams who are really big when it comes to, you adding them. Sometimes it's best to still wait it out and see. Like for daily to day setting, for example, I've learned that I bet it's better to just wait until maybe a few hours before. So I'm early riser, so I'll just wake up at around 6 in the morning and wait to see the news that comes out, who's not, and then that's where I decide which players to go for adding. So these things can happen in 2 days. You're gonna be waiting for 2 days, and a lot can
Yes.
happen in 2 days. One thing that will not also surprise me, that 14 game schedule, lots of
A
rest
lot of rest.
probably, lots of
Yes, a lot
rest.
of rest.
I can anticipate that already, especially those who have games on Christmas Day. Um, right? I mean,
Possibly. Yeah.
usually, they give. I don't know. It's just something I observed. The stars get these types of treatments wherein they have a marquee game. The following days, they rest this player just to give them an extended rest or an extended vacation since they're playing on Christmas Day. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well. So that means uh, there might be some opportunities there on that 14 game day. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. The last few, Dante DiVincenzo, Kevon Looney, of course, these are from the Warriors who are also, um, have their own injury problems as well. So we've been talking about these players already. Chances are they're not there anymore, but just in case, still worth adding them for next week. All right, that's it for today's schedule analyzer. Hope this helped, and hope that you'll be able to win your leagues and with these tips that we shared today. And with that, we'll see you guys again tomorrow for a regular daily fantasy quickie. Bye, guys.